Hi everyone, in this video I cover null pointers. In my previous video I already explained how we can declare a pointer and initialize it to the address of another variable. Now what happens if we don't initialize a pointer? Here I have an example statement of declaring a pointer to an integer without initializing it. Now this pointer doesn't point to anything meaningful. It holds a garbage value, essentially a random memory address. I have illustrated that on the right. We have the pointer that points to something, but I don't really know what it is pointing to. It could be some address that my program doesn't even have access to. Now going back to my program, I declare the pointer, then assume I have additional code that I have illustrated by the 3 dots, and later in my program I want to access that pointer. Here I have an example statement where I follow the pointer to go to the value that the pointer is pointing to, and I intend to output that value to the console. Now essentially I'm accessing a bad pointer. This pointer has never been initialized. It holds a garbage value. It could be a wrong memory address, or it could be a memory address that my program doesn't have access to. When trying to run this program, my program will crash. The right way to do this is to initialize the pointer to null when I declare it. Null is a special value that means the pointer doesn't point to anything. Essentially, it's just nothing at this point. By initializing the pointer to null, I can later check in my program if the pointer is not equal to null. If it's no longer null, I know this pointer holds a valid value and I can read that value or output it to the console. So it's safe to use that pointer at this point. Let's go over one common mistake. This is dereferencing a null pointer. When I declare a pointer and I initialize it to null, I must always check if it does not point to null before accessing the pointer. In this example here, I declare the pointer, I initialize it to null, and then immediately I access the pointer by trying to go to the address that it's pointing to and outputting the value. This will result in a segmentation fault. It will crash my program the same way as if I had not initialized the pointer. So just initializing a pointer to null will not remedy the original problem. It's always important to use a condition to check if the pointer is not equal to null before accessing it. Let's go over one example. In this example, I declare a pointer to an int that I initialize to null. Then you can assume I have some code, and then I use a condition if the pointer is not or equal null. I access the pointer by going to the address that the pointer is pointing to and outputting the value. If it is still null, which is reflected by the else block, I output the pointer is null, nothing to print. Let's run this program. Here my program outputted the pointer is null, nothing to print. Now let's declare an integer named number. I initialize it to 8. And then I point the pointer to that number. Now I run this program again. The pointer has been initialized, so it holds a valid memory address. It no longer holds the value null. And so I can go to the address that the pointer is pointing to, which is the number variable. And I can output the value at that address, which is 8. So whenever you declare a pointer and you don't initialize it to an address of another variable, always be sure to initialize it to null so you can later check in your program whether this pointer points to a valid memory address or if it's still pointing to null. Thank you for watching.